They were not born into palaces. They did not inherit crowns. They were once a wandering tribe, a small clan fighting to survive between collapsing empires and hostile lands. Yet, within centuries, they would command 3 continents, rule millions of people, and challenge the greatest powers on earth. This is the story of how a handful of warriors forged one of history's most enduring and powerful empires. This is the forgotten rise of the Ottoman Empire. In the late 1200s, the land we now call Turkey was a storm of chaos. The mighty Mongol hordes had swept through, shattering old kingdoms and leaving a power vacuum in their wake. The legendary Byzantine Empire, once the master of the East, was weak, old, and divided. It was a time of warlords, raiders, and fleeting alliances. And out of this chaos, from a small Turkic clan on the edge of Byzantine lands, a leader named Osman emerged. Osman was different. He didn't just dream of survival, he dreamed of destiny. Legend says he had a vision of a great tree growing from his heart, its branches shading the entire world. His followers, inspired by this vision, called themselves Osmanliler, people of Osman. The Ottomans were born. Osman's son, Orhan, was the architect who started turning his father's dream into a state. The small band of warriors transformed into an organized force. What began as simple raids became strategic campaigns. Cities fell, one after another. Bursa became their first capital, a symbol of their growing power. They secured trade routes, filled their treasuries, and built a professional army known as the Janissaries, an elite force that would become legendary. Then, in the year 1354, something that seemed impossible happened. Taking advantage of a Byzantine civil war and a devastating earthquake, Ottoman forces crossed the Dardanelles Strait and established their first permanent foothold in Europe. They were no longer just visitors or raiders, they were conquerors. The Balkans, a patchwork of divided Christian kingdoms, began to fall one by one. The Ottoman tide was surging, and it seemed nothing could stop it. But destiny is a fragile thing, and the dream almost ended before it truly began. In 1402, from the east, a new terror emerged, the great conqueror Timur, known in the west as Tamerlane. At the Battle of Ankara, Timur's massive army didn't just defeat the Ottomans, it annihilated them. The Sultan was captured and died in captivity. The empire shattered almost overnight. A brutal civil war erupted as Osman's grandsons fought each other for the broken pieces of the throne. For over a decade, brothers killed brothers, cities rebelled, and the lands they had conquered began to slip away. The Ottoman dream was on the very edge of extinction. It took the grit and political genius of one man, Mehmed I, to painstakingly stitch the broken empire back together, earning him the title of its second founder. With the empire restored, the stage was set for a ruler who would not just reshape the Ottomans, but rewrite world history. His name was Mehmed II, better known as Mehmed the Conqueror. His eyes were fixed on the ultimate prize, Constantinople, the legendary capital of the Byzantine Empire, a city that had stood for over 1,000 years, protected by walls that were considered unbreakable. In 1453, Mehmed brought a weapon the world had never seen used on such a scale. Massive cannons capable of turning stone walls to dust. For 53 days, the city was bombarded. Finally, the ancient walls were breached. When Mehmed's soldiers poured into the city and his banner was raised over its highest towers, it was more than just a conquest. The fall of Constantinople marked the end of the Roman Empire, the definitive end of the Middle Ages, and the moment the Ottoman state transformed into a true global empire. The fall of Constantinople was just the beginning. The next century and a half would be the Ottoman Golden Age, reaching its absolute peak under the reign of Suleiman the Magnificent. Under Suleiman, the empire became a marvel of administration, law, and culture. Ottoman laws were refined and codified. Science, poetry, architecture, and art flourished in Istanbul and beyond. But Suleiman was also a relentless warrior. His armies marched deep into Europe, laying siege to the gates of Vienna itself. His navies, commanded by fearsome admirals like Barbarossa, dominated the Mediterranean Sea and the Indian Ocean. From the mountains of Hungary to the deserts of Arabia, from the coast of Algeria to the shores of the Persian Gulf, the word of the Sultan was law. The Ottoman Empire was, without question, the most powerful state on earth. But even the mightiest giants grow old and tired. The long, slow decline didn't happen overnight. It was a process of 1,000 small cuts. The system of succession, which once ensured strong rulers, became a source of palace intrigue and corruption. As Europe experienced the scientific revolution and the Enlightenment, the Ottomans began to fall behind in technology and military innovation. Their once unstoppable armies started suffering defeats. More importantly, the spirit of nationalism, born from the French Revolution, began to sweep through their vast, diverse territories. Greeks, Serbs, Bulgarians, and Arabs began to dream of their own independent nations. The empire, which had once seemed eternal, still looked powerful on the outside. But deep inside, the foundations were cracking. The final blow came with the First World War. In a desperate gamble to reclaim lost glory and territory, the Ottoman leadership chose to ally with Germany and Austria-Hungary. It was a fatal mistake. For 4 years, Ottoman soldiers fought bravely across multiple fronts, from the deserts of the Middle East to the frozen mountains of the Caucasus. But the empire was exhausted, outdated, and outmatched. By the end of the war, their armies had collapsed, and their lands were carved up by the victorious Allied powers. The Sultan was a ruler in name only. In 1922, after more than 600 years of continuous rule, the Ottoman Empire was officially dissolved, and the last Sultan went into exile. A new nation, the Republic of Turkey, rose from its ashes. Yet, a legacy that spans 6 centuries never truly dies. The influence of the Ottomans echoes in the 21st century. Their legal codes shaped the laws of modern nations across the Balkans and the Middle East. Their stunning architecture, from the Blue Mosque in Istanbul to bridges in Bosnia, still owes visitors today. Their culture, cuisine, and language left an indelible mark on every land they ruled. From a forgotten tribe fighting for survival on a dusty frontier to a world-shaping superpower that stood at the center of global history. The Ottomans didn't just make history, they changed its course forever. Thanks for watching. If you want to explore more incredible stories from the past, make sure to like and subscribe. See you next time.